Happy Yule! I dressed up for you guys even though I'm not going anywhere. I'll literally stop filming this, take my makeup off, take my jewelry off, and get back into my pajamas. Okay. But I love dressing up. Ooh, let's cover my babies up. But anyway, I know that I have posted a couple of videos this season, talking a little bit about Yule and what I've been up to this season, and it's been really fun. But I really wanted to kind of go a little bit more into what I do, like in terms of the festival itself. And as you can see, I changed my background. I wanted to, before we get started, I want to mention that this is my Yule tree, my Christmas tree, or whatever you want to call it. And I thought that would give a nice touch this time. I'll be back to my trusty red couch, you know, my red comfy couch, or my big mama chair, you know, next time you see me. But anyway, this is a solstice, right? The solstices are my absolute favorite festivals. In terms of like a winter festival, it would definitely have to be Yule. If you celebrate the wheel of the year, most of us, we really have a special place in our hearts for Samhain. And I do as well. I love spookiness. I love what Halloween/Samhain has done for us witches. It has literally blossomed into, this is what started the aesthetic. This is what made witchcraft popular. This is why we're able to buy things and look a certain way. And it really, I'm grateful for that. But anyway, my favorite season, okay, if we're talking about the 4 seasons, is winter. There's something about winter that calls to me. But there's something about Yule specifically that always resonated with me. There was something about the solstice night, the longest night of the year, how darkness is prevailing, right? Now, I do so much consider this a sun festival. Like, you know, we're honoring the sun for turning, like, basically what the world has done is it's gone all the way over, you know, it's kind of gone all the way over here to the darkest night and lift us, you know, in terms of the tilt of Earth, right? In science, we're leaning back, and I like learning the science and everything behind what the Earth is doing and what have you. I always resonated with that because, I mean, the winter is a time for reflection, right? We're leaned back, we're sleeping, right? We're hibernating. And then in Litha, with the sun, I mean, with the Earth tilted like this, and we have the longest day of the year, we're in action mode. We're swimming, right? We're swimming because it's summer here in the Northern Hemisphere. But anyway, so there was just something about this particular solstice that always felt like home to me. So naturally, I put a lot of things into my practice this time of year. Okay, I'm crafting, I'm making a lot of things, I am doing a lot more rituals. I'll touch on this in another video, okay, but my spell work is like down here compared to all the rituals that I have and that I've done and that I love to do. Like I said, I do consider this a sun festival, but what I really want and love to do this time of year is honor the darkness. Now, I know that we kind of do that in Samhain. The veil is the thinnest in Samhain, but this is like the peak of darkness, right? And I watch that movie, I know the name of it, okay? I'm just, Legend. Tom Cruise and Tim Curry, okay? And I think of that little goblin, and he says, "Black as midnight, black as pitch, blacker than the foulest witch." And I thought, yes, if that's not talking about Yule as a day, as a season, as a Sabbath, I don't know what is, okay? I love the darkness. I'm emo anyway, you know, so I love to honor the darkness. Plus, I've already made a video about my crone time. I'm still in my crone time. I don't kill the crone in my practice, like give her a funeral and all that, until my death devotion time at Imbolc, which I guess is weird for some people, but I honor like a 4-fold system. I do have a triple goddess in my practice, but what that basically looks like for me is we have the maiden and the mother and the crone, which I've given them new names and all that. So, that's a whole other, that's 5 other videos. But right after the crone time, I have death time. And I know it would kind of make sense to have like death kind of a thing right here in the darkness, but that's not when it is for me. Death is that sacred womb time, before birth, before birthing the maiden. Anyway, like I said, that's 5 other videos. So anyway, I'm still very much in my crone time in terms of my practice. So I honor the darkest parts of the crone this time of year. The shunned parts, not just the societal shuns either. I mean, I try to pull out the darkest aspects of them, kind of like what we would do in terms of like the dark goddess. Look at the destructive nature, look at the hag nature, look at the evil and the curse-ridden, Baba Yaga's type aspects and archetypes and things. And I honor those aspects of the goddess. And this time of year is perfect for that. The darkness is the time to pull out the destructiveness. And for me, it just seems what works for me. I know that Jessie Huntenberg has mentioned this, on her channel recently about being a mind witch. And I'm here to tell you, yes, okay? I'm raising my hand. I am a mind witch. And I honor that about myself. So there's a lot of reflective, there's so much thinking and meditating and scrying that I do this time of year. There's a level of my imagination that gets expanded every year this time of year. Because I'm broadening it, I'm discovering new worlds, I'm adding to the altars in my imagination that I have already formed. I'm adding to them, and I'm manifesting things through those images in my mind's eye. And this is the time of year that I do all that. I wanted to touch on this too because it kind of relates, but I posted something on Instagram about this. But my absolute favorite memory of Christmas, and we celebrated Christmas because my parents are Christian. But we celebrate Christmas anyway. We would go around, and my parents would drive us around looking at lights. I loved that. I loved looking at lights, and what that did was it broadened my imagination as a child. Even though, if you think about children's imagination, they're pretty fucking broad anyway. But I would inevitably, because of where I live in the world, we tend to have more rainy, sleety winters than like actual snow falls and flurries. So where I live in the south of the US, it's kind of rainy this time of year. And there would always be like these raindrops on the window on the back seat. And I would stare out of it, like stare out the window looking for lights. But what would happen is I would zone out, right? I would zone out, and my eyes would stay open, okay? It's very much how I meditate now. But my eyes would stay open, and the whole world would get fuzzy. And then we would drive along, and the Christmas lights would cast these weird, out-of-focused prism-like lights on the window, along with the rain sleet drops. So they'd be like colorful crystals in the window pane. And my mind went on so many journeys as a kid with that. I just felt an excitement this time of year. It was almost like a feeling of anticipation. I mean, of course, because some of us have Santa, right? So there's an excitement level there. But that stayed with me even now, like Christmas Eve, like that I get that same type of feeling. And I get that feeling around Yule too when I do certain rituals. I get that feeling right here in my soul of anticipating something, of being excited about something. And I have learned to use that. Okay? As this is closing the year, I've learned to rope that feeling of excitement to finding things to look forward to in the future, right? That's helped me generate so much manifestation. And what broadening my imagination did with those colorful lights, it filled me with excitement and anticipation, and it filled me with, I guess you could say, it made me believe in the magic of the world. The world seemed to, this time of year, okay, especially, where I live, the world seemed to transform into this, fairyland with lights and elves and costumes and, crackers that pop and presents and wrapping and bows, and the whole world seemed to transform. Not so, on top of the changing of the season and getting colder and colder where I live as we go, through, we're still very much haven't even really got to winter yet. Not the coldest part. And I remember being so excited because when it would get chilly, which would be about this time of year when you really start getting chilled, that would be what I was excited for. I want it to snow, I want it to snow, I want it to snow, I want it to get cold. And that's what I would hold in here, Hopefully January and February is cold. And anyway, I'm rambling here, but basically I've turned what I loved as a kid this time of year and the transformation the world seemed to go on. It was almost like this was the only time of year that the world that I was viewing outside my mind's eye would be reflecting what I want it to be, what I want to the whole mind and world, my mind's eye, to look like. And what it did look like was fairy lights everywhere, bows and paper, not so much gifts, but just the colorfulness of it. So I often look back on memories of Yule to hold more of that anticipation, to hold more of the love I hold for the world in general. Like learn about new cultures, learn about Christmas, in another land. I know that I was talking to Hani over at Fierce and Pretty about, I don't even know, hopefully I can pronounce this right. She tried to teach me. Joulu is how they say Christmas in Finland. And I'm anxious to talk to her about how they celebrate. That's fascinating to me, is how others celebrate this time of year. Not so much a Christmas thing or even a solstice thing, but do you do anything this time of year? Is there some kind of festival, something that you look forward to? I like learning about those things, always have. And so I have wrote what I used to do as a kid and how magical I thought the world was transforming into. I'm roping that into how am I going to keep that feeling this time of year, use that, build worlds in my mind's eye that reflect what I'm seeing, the Christmas lights and all the doodads and stuff, build something in my mind's eye to help me with spells, help me with rituals, help me to manifest a world like that. Because I feel like we all have something to give to the world that we're living in. So that's kind of how I view Yule in a nutshell. I know that I posted this video, I'll leave it in the cards if you're interested. But what I ended up doing was taking one of my favorite Christmas carols and rewriting it. Turning it a little bit more witchy. That has also helped me to turn the holiday into, or even the song itself, turn that into a form of anticipation, a form of excitement, a kind of kid-like excitement. And that really has been helping me. I've been trying to memorize it and sing it along with the instrumental music, and what started as a journal prompt just led me down wanting to transform other songs and make up my own. Now, as a poetry lover and a poetry writer, I would not call myself a poet. I just write shit. Hopefully it's good, but it really doesn't matter if it is to me. So using poetry and turning that into chanting, because there's so much singing this time of year that seems to be going on. This is when we really have playlists going. We have our Christmas songs going and shit like that, especially here in the United States, I believe. And so it seems very let's sing. And it seems to be that the song, the physical piece of us having, a song here is where most of the excitement comes from this time of year. It's when you turn that playlist on, all the kiddies get excited and they start smiling, and every time I turn the playlist on, inevitably my youngest will be like, can I have some hot chocolate? It could be 90 degrees outside that particular day, But there's something about the playlist being on that reminds them of Christmases past and memories and what their soul feels like in excitement. So now, I'm not naive. I know that this year has been shit. And I know that there are probably lots of posts and stuff about positivity, and it can be toxic. Because if your life is not exciting right now, if you think you're leading a simple or a boring life, I know that I spoke to this the concept of a simple life in a whole other video, but if you're having a shit year and you still haven't really gotten into the excitement of this time of year, or you're not going to, either one, that's perfectly okay. If you're not in a place to hold that excitement within your soul, maybe that'll happen for you next year. Maybe that'll happen after just a few more therapy appointments, whatever. Maybe there's, something that you're trying to manifest and it hasn't happened yet. All of that is perfectly acceptable. Be 100. If you're not as excited about Yule as the rest of the world seems to be, don't worry about them. Worry about you. Sometimes I have low times where a festival will come up and I'll think, oh, I want to participate. But then I don't. I just can't seem to get out of the sludge. I don't let it get to me. I just let all those posts, I just flick it all past. I'm like, okay. Love you for being excited, but I'm not. Go on somewhere. But it's a matter of knowing yourself and knowing where you're at. If social media is not doing it for you, or if you find yourself dreading even going to Instagram because everyone's gonna be like, oh yay, this is what we're doing right now, and we're drinking wassail, and it's like, don't do it. Don't even do that. Read a book. Hibernate. Like I said, the world's tilting. You should too. Just tilt, lean back, and do your own thing. You don't have to get on social media if it's not helping you. If it's not generating some inspiration or whatever. I think that it's perfectly okay to just kind of dodge it for a little while to help mental status. So I guess that's my 2 cents on that. Because I know sometimes that can be stressful too, and I don't mean to offer positivity. I'm just offering a little bit of my time this year and what that looks like. Not always positive, okay? Anyway, back to the song aspect. I wanted to say that the songs seem to be so heavy. The emphasis of singing seems to be so heavy. Sing some stuff. Write your own music if you can. I have no clue how to read or write sheet music, okay? But I can turn my poetry into songs. Try to rope it into a song, right? Like my husband plays the guitar, so he could probably help me. But I write poetry, maybe turn it into songs, rewrite an existing song. Use a form of music as part of healing and a part of excitement and anticipation this time of year. This is what I think about, is singing. Even if it's nothing but like Handel's Messiah and you just write words to that, I think that in terms of my witchcraft practice, this time of year holds so much. I hold so much space for renewal. How this is the end of the year, and like I said before, what am I looking forward to next year? What needs renewing? If we think about the word Yule, it means wheel, like in Old Norse, I think. And I mean, it's been said before, but I think about the turning of the wheel. Now, the Wheel of Fortune card in tarot is my birth card. So I kind of link it to that too. Like, in terms of myself, use the wheel. Which figure am I on the tarot card? Am I going up like this and falling back down, or am I getting crushed, or am I coming up to something? Think about like where I am now, where I could be next year, maybe some plans, goals, things like that. This is like everyone seems to do the resolution thing. I don't really do that every year, but I think about, my mind kind of goes the resolution route, but it's not like I don't write it down every year. I may not. So anyway, I think about like spells for renewal, rituals for gratitude for what has transpired. There's another emphasis on peace this time of year. So what am I at peace with and what am I not at peace with? This is so much a journaling. Most of festivals on the Wheel of the Year are journaling. There's just huge journal prompts, huge bold letters for me when I see Yule or Samhain or Imbolc. Those hold so much journaling prompts for me that just seems like all I do. But this time of year specifically, I focus on peace. I focus on renewal. I focus on love. I focus on family because, of course, this is we're trying to get together. This year might be different for you. Journal about how that makes you feel. That's what I would do. I'm blessed to be living in a part of the world where we're not on lockdown, so we can still, get together and things, and we're going to. So I journal about how to be with family that doesn't and won't accept me for the witchy me. And some years is harder than others. Some years I don't give a shit. I'm like, I am who I am. I don't talk to them about it per se, but I accept it, and then I just go with an open heart and open mind to, the get together. But like I said, I journal about that, things like that, and not always positive. Sometimes it's worse. Some years are worse than others, especially like I said before, like this year. It's been shit for some people. The last part I wanted to talk about, I have my trusty handy dandy notebook. Even I don't show it in a lot of videos anymore, but when I first started my channel, I used to have this in my lap all the time. I need to start showing it a little bit more on my channel, but I wrote down that the Yule moon tomorrow night is the first quarter moon, which is the waxing half moon, okay, basically. Or that's how I think of it, is the growing half moon. And so I kind of think of the half moon and what that may entail. Now, I don't always do magic on the half moon, but I thought, it's Yule, let's see what I can dredge up. And what I wrote down was, look at what has taken root, okay, on the new moon. Focus, reevaluation, commitment, growing strength. That's a good one. Using energy, my energy, in strides of forwardness. So with those little keywords and phrases, I'm using a mental picture of the half moon and the fact that it's growing, and the wheel, which is Yule, or which means Yule, and how it's doing this. How am I moving forward? And with that, in order to not stay in the past, I'm gonna have to continue to focus on ways in which to reevaluate and move forward, and how to let things go, which is what I'll have to look forward to at the full moon, is letting shit go and banishing shit. I think of that quote by Samwise in Lord of the Rings, because I'm a Lord of the Rings nerd, is all the people have multiple chances of turning back when they're faced with something. Maybe it's something that is in your future, but you're not really looking forward to it, like a doctor's appointment or something like that. Or a test if you're in school, a big test coming up in the spring. But he was like, you could turn back. But the real heroes of the story, they don't. They keep going no matter what. Be the hero of your own story. And not that we're going to forget the bullshit that 2020 put us through, or you through, or your family through, or your friend's family through. We're not going to forget that. We're going to hold that with us, and some of us continue to live through the bad portions of the pandemic, or whatever 2020 has brought your way. Now, we as humans, we can't turn back. You could mentally stay in the past. But if you're the real hero of your story and not a secondary character, you're going to have to find something, some kind of hope. And that's what I think about this year. As darkness prevails, and it's dark, what is that spark of light in the center? As the sun comes back to the earth, Think about that little spark. What is that for you? Yeah, 2020, whatever, your life now, your life a few months ago, your life back in January before the pandemic hit, you know, you could stay in those mindsets. But what is, like, look forward and look at the spark. What is the spark for you? Hopefully this video has helped. I wasn't trying to be a teacher in this video. I was just trying to give a little information and give you a little holiday cheer. Please let me know in the comments what you're up to. If you are up to anything, getting together with family or just sitting there, you know, in your pajamas drinking hot chocolate, which is gonna be like most of the day for me, watching movies and shit. And I hope to see everyone again on the channel. Much love.